welcome to TheoTrade. This is Don Kaufman. It's July 24th, 2018. You are watching the Theo Night video. Let's get started with a look at the Nasdaq, specifically following the Google earnings, which were, rather stellar. Google explodes to the upside. Specifically, Google hit directly on the edge of its expected move. Of course, we're going to be talking about earnings here momentarily. Nevertheless, let's look at the reversal, specifically inside of the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq touching just shy of 7,500, reversing all the way right back down to 7,400. For those of you that have not watched the Nasdaq in some of the recent sessions, people, we just simply cannot get off the 7,400 level. Once again today, we saw lighter volume. However, the S&P futures, some of their volume did actually uptick very, very mildly today. At least we did over 1 million contracts. One of the big standouts in some of the recent trading sessions has been liquidity, or we should say lack thereof in terms of liquidity. But it's interesting to see the fact that when the markets reversed on an intraday basis today, we actually saw liquidity come raging back into the marketplace. The other real standout inside of today's trading session was the fairly wild and 1.3% reverse in the Russell. Now, for those of you that do track some of the positions that I put on from time to time, the Russell is where I still maintain a short position, specifically in the Russell futures. Now, with that, kind of cut to the chase and get right into Facebook. All right, markets have been a little bit docile lately. Volatility is down, although I do not believe that is going to last. Nevertheless, what's kind of on the plate right in front of us happens to be none other than Facebook, and specifically Facebook earnings. So I want to look at Facebook on an intraday basis. It too had a very mild reversal on an intraday basis. Nevertheless, Facebook has done nothing but explode to the upside since the debacle that kind of kicked off in mid-March, hitting kind of bottom there in early April, and we've had, again, nothing but upside. It is wild as a trader, and doing this for over 20 years, to see such a linear move to the upside in one particular underlying without even really much of a thought of a downdraft. Nevertheless, I am going to be taking a little bit of a contrarian position coming into the Facebook earnings, which are going to be after the bell tomorrow. That is Wednesday. After the bell, we're going to kick off into the Facebook earnings. Now, a couple of things that you want to be aware of. Let's go ahead and close up this left side bar, and I'm going to kind of highlight a few aspects. Number one, we're actually coming into a Wednesday, again, a Wednesday earnings period, which actually changes a little bit of some of the strategy that I'm capable of utilizing. In fact, I'm going to show you two different strategies along the lines of this Facebook earnings announcement. So when the earnings come out, we're still going to have Thursday and Friday to trade. The expected move, around the earnings is right around $11.50. Now, I've already kind of denoted I'm going to be taking a contrarian, again, a contrarian style position that happens to be a bearish position in an underlying that has been wild to the upside. So in doing so, I do not in any way, shape, or form want to extend myself into any heavy amounts of risk. So what kind of strategies could I incorporate that would not extend myself into heavy amounts of risk? One of those could actually be a butterfly. And in this case, I'm looking at a very, very small butterfly. It's 250 wide strikes. That's a 205, 202.50, 200 put butterfly. Right now, this thing is priced at 13 cents. Now, here's a trade that undoubtedly you're going to have to reprice throughout the course of the day on Wednesday. Now, that's something I will be pricing this trade on Wednesday within the TheoTrade chat room live. And we'll do a multitude of different pricing techniques. We'll look at a multitude of different trades. But here's what I would kind of call the cheap shot, if you will, to the downside. So how do I select the 202.50 as my central strike? Well, that's predicated on the expected move. If we just do some, kind of some quick and dirty math over here, and I'll pull up my trusted calculator, all right? We have an underlying that's trading right around 214.67. Subtract, in this case, I want to subtract because I'm a little more bearish, $11.50. Okay, and where do you come out to? Right around the 203 area. So obviously there is no specifically 203 strike. We're going to do the best we can. We're going to be at about 202.5, and that's where I'm actually going to center the butterfly. Now, just because the butterfly is $2.50 wide doesn't mean you're going to make $2.50 on this thing. So we're going to pay most likely not around 13 cents. My guess is I can probably grab this butterfly for around 15 cents. Once again, I want to enunciate, this is a low probability shot. Nevertheless, for those of you that tuned in last week, recall, we did the exact same thing in Microsoft. The Microsoft trade happened to be a bullish trade in Microsoft, and we went out and we purchased a $2 wide butterfly, and we hit that one out of the park. We bought a $2 wide butterfly for about a 30-cent debit. Here, okay, this is a bit of target practice. We really need, again, Facebook, not only in the scope of this butterfly, but we need it in the scope of the butterfly just about, okay, Friday morning, which means you got to pass through Thursday, okay, and come Friday morning, this butterfly could expand very, very nicely. Now, the other trade is much more of what I would call a purist trade, right? This is a pure bearish and binary position. I'm going out and just purchasing a 217.50, 215 put spread. It's a $2.50 wide put spread. Now, in this $2.50 wide put spread is for a $1.25 debit. Again, a $1.25 debit. I'm risking $1.25. Am I going to make a full $1.25 on it? Probably not. Nevertheless, any down move whatsoever inside of Facebook in the coming 2 days is going to see some massive profitability. And again, is a very pure, very binary position. Now, with some of the intraday reversal that we saw today, we're going to be looking for some follow through to that. In fact, just in the last few minutes, you can see the futures are going to open up a little bit negative over here, and we're going to look for follow through, meaning that on the tech side of things, maybe Facebook, okay, comes out with, decent numbers. Nevertheless, okay, numbers don't seem to matter right now. We're going to be looking for a bit of a bearish move in Facebook. Thanks, everybody. Please join us live in the TheoTrade chat room tomorrow as we reprice a number of these strategies coming closer to the earnings. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.